Welcome to Zoe Crossdressing. Yes, Mom. I feel happy in cute girl clothes. The sharp bang of a slamming door shattered the calm of the quiet suburban house. Oscar's chest tightened as panic hit him all at once. He hadn't locked his bedroom door. Footsteps moved through the hallway. Heart pounding, he snatched the silky blue dress from where it shimmered against his reflection only moments ago and shoved it beneath his bed. He grabbed the nearest textbook and dropped onto his chair, forcing himself to look busy just as his mother's voice floated up the stairs. "Oscar, sweetheart, are you home?" "Yeah, Mom. I'll be down soon," he called back, praying his voice didn't betray him. The doorknob turned, and his mother peeked inside. "Good, you're here. I just wanted to tell you that Ria's coming over for dinner tonight. Could you help me set the table in about an hour?" Oscar nodded quickly, pasting on a smile. "Sure." Once she left, he exhaled deeply, his shoulders sagging. He'd been so wrapped up in his private escape that time had slipped right past him. Ria, his mother's closest friend, had practically helped raise him. If anyone noticing something felt dangerous, it was her. Carefully, Oscar pulled the dress back out, smoothing the fabric before hanging it deep in the closet, hidden behind heavy coats and thick sweaters. His fingers brushed the soft material, lingering just a second too long before he shut the door, burying the feeling along with it. Later, as he set plates on the dining table, his thoughts drifted back to the close call. He didn't even notice the front door open. Well, if it isn't my favorite mystery man. Oscar jumped, nearly dropping a plate as he turned around. "Ria. I didn't hear you come in." She laughed warmly and pulled him into a quick hug. "Look at you. You've grown so much. How's college life?" "It's fine," he said with a shrug. "Busy." His mother appeared from the kitchen with dinner, cheerful as ever. Perfect timing. "Oscar, grab the salad, will you?" The evening settled into easy conversation and familiar laughter. Oscar relaxed, his earlier fear fading, until Ria casually spoke again. "Oscar," she said lightly, "I passed by your room earlier and noticed a gorgeous blue dress. Should we be expecting a secret girlfriend?" The room went silent. Oscar's fork froze midair. His mother turned toward him, surprise flickering across her face. Heat rushed to his cheeks as words failed him. His thoughts scrambled, every excuse dissolving before it reached his lips. Ria immediately noticed the tension and softened her tone. "Oh, sweetheart. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable." Oscar swallowed hard, the secret still sitting heavy in his chest, unspoken, but no longer entirely unseen. "I just thought it was beautiful," Oscar's mother added gently, confusion threading her voice. Oscar, what's going on?" The silence pressed down hard on the room. Oscar couldn't bring himself to look up. His eyes stayed fixed on the pattern of his plate as a familiar urge washed over him, the desire to shrink, to vanish entirely. He'd replayed this moment in his head 100 times, rehearsed speeches and excuses. Yet now that it was real, every word felt out of reach. At last, he inhaled slowly and raised his gaze. It's mine," he said, barely louder than a whisper. "The dress. It belongs to me." His mother's fork slipped from her fingers with a soft clatter. "Yours," she echoed. "Oscar, what do you mean?" Under the table, his hands trembled. "I wear them sometimes," he admitted. "Dresses. Feminine clothes. It just feels right." Once he started, the truth spilled out faster than he could stop it, each sentence loosening a knot he'd carried for years. Before his mother could respond, Rihi spoke, her voice warm and steady. "Oh, sweetheart," she said softly, reaching across the table to rest her hand over his. "Thank you for trusting us with something so personal. I can only imagine how hard that's been." Oscar's mother stayed quiet for a moment, her expression thoughtful rather than angry. "How long have you been feeling this way?" she asked carefully. A long time, Oscar said. I was scared. I didn't want to disappoint you, or make things awkward. Her eyes softened instantly. Oh, honey. You could never disappoint me. I just wish you hadn't felt so alone with it. Something shifted then. The tightness in the room eased as Oscar began to talk, really talk. He shared his fears, the secrecy, the quiet joy of those stolen moments in his room. It felt like a dam breaking, years of silence finally rushing free. As the evening wore on, Rihi leaned back thoughtfully. You know, she said, I have a friend named Aura. She's a makeup artist, very kind, very open. If you'd ever want to explore this side of yourself in a safe space, I could ask her to help. Oscar's breath caught. You'd really do that? Rihi smiled. Of course. Everyone deserves to feel at home in their own skin. His mother nodded slowly. If this is what you want, Oscar, I'm here for you. I may need time to learn, but I support you. The days that followed felt unreal. Rihi arranged for Aura to come by on Saturday, and Oscar floated between excitement and terror. The night before, he barely slept, carefully laying out outfits and checking them again and again. When the doorbell rang, his heart nearly leapt out of his chest. From downstairs, he heard laughter, Rihi's familiar warmth paired with a new, energetic voice. Gathering his courage, Oscar headed down. Aura was impossible to miss, bright purple hair, bold eyeliner, and a smile that radiated confidence. You must be Oscar, she said, pulling him into a quick hug. Rihi's told me wonderful things about you. Ready for some magic? Oscar nodded, words failing him again, but a smile tugged at his lips. Up in his room, Aura surveyed the outfits with delighted approval. Oh wow, she said. You've got an eye for style. And this blue dress? Absolute perfection. Oscar blushed. I've never worn it outside this room. Aura met his eyes kindly. Then today's a first. Let's start with makeup. For hours, the room buzzed with energy. Brushes swept, colors blended, laughter filled the air. Aura explained every step while Rihi helped style his hair, adding length and softness until Oscar barely recognized his reflection. As they worked, Oscar talked about feeling divided, about hiding parts of himself to fit expectations. They listened, never interrupting, never judging. You know, Aura said gently while finishing his mascara, identity isn't always simple. You're allowed to explore. You're allowed to take your time. Oscar nodded carefully, emotion tightening his throat. I've always felt like I was playing a role that never quite fit, he admitted. Like there was another version of me waiting to be seen. And for the first time, that version didn't feel so far away. Rihi gave his shoulder a reassuring squeeze. Today, she said softly, you get to try on a version of yourself that might feel a little closer to the truth. At last, after what felt like both forever and a blink, Aura stepped back, her hands lifted dramatically. All right, darling, she announced with a grin. Moment of truth. Ready? Oscar's pulse thundered in his ears as he rose to his feet, gently straightening the blue dress now shaped perfectly to his body. He drew in a steadying breath and turned toward the tall mirror resting against the wall. He stopped cold. The reflection staring back at him felt unfamiliar, and yet impossibly right. Soft makeup highlighted his eyes and cheekbones, his lips subtly defined. Long, loose waves framed his face, and the blue dress glowed against his skin. There was no mistaking it, the person in the mirror looked feminine, confident, real. For a heartbeat, he forgot how to breathe. Oh, he murmured, lifting a hand to the glass as if afraid the image might vanish. That's me. Behind him, Rihi and Aura watched quietly, smiles filled with pride. You're stunning, Rihi said, her voice thick with emotion. Oscar turned toward them, eyes shining. Thank you, he said softly. I don't even have words for what this means. Aura wrapped him in a warm hug. You don't need them. This was always inside you, we just helped you see it. Rihi clapped her hands lightly. Well then, she said, how about we share this moment with your mom? She's been waiting downstairs. Oscar hesitated, nerves creeping back in. What if it's too much? Rihi met his eyes, steady and kind. She loves you. That hasn't changed, and it won't. After a deep breath, Oscar nodded. Okay. I'm ready. Each step down the stairs made his heart pound harder. When they reached the living room, his mother looked up from her book and froze. Oh, Oscar, she whispered, rising slowly. You look beautiful. Tears blurred his vision. You really think so? You're not angry? Without hesitation, she crossed the room and pulled him into a tight embrace. Angry? No, sweetheart. I'm just sad you felt like you had to hide for so long. I want you happy. I want you to be you. As she held him, something heavy finally loosened inside his chest. For the first time, he felt fully seen. The rest of the day unfolded in warmth and laughter. His mother insisted on photos, proudly capturing every smile. Dinner stretched late into the evening as the four of them talked openly about identity, fear, courage, and the future. Later, alone in his room, Oscar stood before the mirror once more, still dressed, still amazed. A gentle knock broke the quiet. Come in, he said. His mother stepped inside and sat beside him on the bed. I wanted to say something, she began softly. We're both learning, and we might stumble sometimes, but nothing changes how much I love you. Emotion welled up again. Thank you, Mom. That means everything. She squeezed his hand thoughtfully. I was wondering, when you look like this, would you like a different name? Only if it feels right to you. Oscar's breath caught. He'd imagined that question countless times, but never expected it to come from her. And suddenly, the future felt a little brighter. I'd like that, he said quietly. I've always loved the name Olivia. His mother's smile trembled, her eyes glossy with emotion. Olivia, she repeated softly. It's a beautiful name, perfect for you. As they embraced, Oscar, now Olivia, felt a calm she'd never known settle deep inside her. The future still felt uncertain, but for the first time, it didn't feel frightening. Surrounded by love, she knew she wouldn't be walking it alone. The weeks that followed were filled with firsts. With her mother's encouragement and the steady presence of Rihi and Aura, Olivia began stepping into the world more honestly. Shopping trips turned into joyful adventures as they pieced together a wardrobe that felt like hers, colors, fabrics, and styles that finally matched how she felt inside. One bright afternoon, while sorting through freshly bought clothes on her bed, Olivia hesitated before speaking. Mom, she asked carefully. Can I ask you something? Her mother looked up, attentive. Of course. I know you've been supportive, Olivia said, fingers twisting the hem of a sweater, but how do you really feel? This has to be a big change for you too. Her mother paused, folding the blouse in her hands before setting it aside. I won't pretend it wasn't surprising, she said honestly. Not because I was upset, but because I realized how much you'd been carrying on your own. I wondered if I'd missed something. If I'd failed you. Mom, Olivia began, but her mother gently stopped her. Let me finish, she said with a small smile. What I've learned is that this isn't about my comfort. It's about your truth. And when I see how alive you are as Olivia, how happy, you make complete sense to me. Tears spilled over as Olivia hugged her tightly. I love you so much. Thank you for seeing me. Her mother laughed softly as they pulled apart. Now, she said, reaching for the clothes again, let's finish organizing this incredible wardrobe. With each day, Olivia's confidence grew. She joined a local support group for gender-diverse people and quickly found comfort in hearing stories that echoed her own. That's where she met Jamie, a trans man with an easy smile and a sharp, playful wit. Their friendship formed effortlessly. They talked for hours after meetings, sharing fears, victories, and everything in between. Jamie's perspective grounded her, especially on days when self-doubt crept in. One evening, tucked into a quiet coffee shop, Jamie stirred his drink thoughtfully. "Hey, Liv," he said, glancing up. "Have you ever thought about what this might look like long-term? Like, medical transition?" Olivia considered the question carefully. "I've thought about it," she admitted. "Some days it feels like something I might want. Other days, I don't. I kind of like existing as both Oscar and Olivia." "Is that strange?" Jamie shook his head without hesitation. "Not even a little. Gender isn't a straight line. Some people know exactly where they land. Others don't, and that's just as valid. You get to decide what feels right for you." Olivia smiled, warmth spreading through her chest. For the first time, uncertainty didn't feel like confusion, it felt like freedom. There isn't just one correct way to be trans or non-binary. Jamie's words lingered with Olivia long after he said them, settling into a place she hadn't been able to name before. They gave shape to thoughts she'd carried quietly for years. "I guess I'm still figuring myself out," Olivia said, smiling faintly into her cup. "And that's completely fine," Jamie replied easily. "The figuring it out part? That's the journey." As summer slowly gave way to fall, Olivia found herself standing at the edge of a new chapter, returning to college. She'd taken a semester off to breathe, to heal, to understand herself better. Now, with classes looming, excitement tangled tightly with fear. The night before she left, Olivia sat cross-legged on her bed, half-packed suitcases open around her. A gentle knock sounded at the door. Her mother stepped inside, holding a small gift bag. "I wanted to give you something," she said, sitting beside her. "For school." Curious, Olivia reached inside and drew out a delicate silver locket. When she opened it, her breath caught. Inside were two tiny photos, one of her as Oscar and one as Olivia. "Oh, Mom," her voice wavered. Her mother fastened the necklace around her neck. "I want you to remember this," she said softly. "However you show up in the world, Oscar or Olivia, you are loved. You are my child. And I am endlessly proud of you." Olivia hugged her tightly, tears spilling freely. When they finally pulled apart, her mother smiled through her own tears. "Now come on," she said gently. "Let's get you packed. Tomorrow's a big day." College life rushed back at her faster than she expected. Olivia decided to start the semester presenting as Oscar, easing herself back into routines before making any bigger changes. She opened up to her roommate, Mark, early on, heart pounding as she explained. To her relief, Mark barely hesitated. "Thanks for trusting me," he said. "I've got your back." One Friday evening, as they prepared to go out with friends, Olivia stood frozen in front of her closet. On one side hung familiar clothes she'd worn for years. On the other, dresses, colors, softness. Mark glanced up from his book. "You okay?" She exhaled slowly. "I want to go out as Olivia tonight. I really do. I'm just scared. What if someone recognizes me from class?" Mark shut his book and faced her fully. "Liv, you've been talking about this for weeks. If it feels right, do it. And if anyone gives you a hard time, they answer to me." Something inside her settled. "Okay," she said, reaching for a purple dress. "I'm doing it." An hour later, Olivia stepped out of the bathroom, heart racing. Mark's jaw dropped slightly. "Wow," he said. "You look incredible." She laughed nervously, smoothing her dress. "Thanks. Let's hope everyone else agrees." The campus bar buzzed with music and laughter as they walked in. Olivia spotted their friends and forced herself forward. A few surprised looks followed, but then smiles, hugs, and excited compliments. As the night unfolded, her nerves melted away. She danced, laughed, and felt lighter than she had in years. This felt real. When she went to the bar for another drink, the moment shattered. Oscar? Is that you? Her stomach dropped. Olivia turned slowly to see Tyler from her economics class staring at her, eyes wide with disbelief. For the first time that night, the room seemed very quiet. And Olivia knew this moment, how she handled it, would matter more than anything before it. For a split second, she thought about denying it, about laughing it off and pretending Tyler had the wrong person. But then she felt the gentle weight of the locket against her chest, her mother's voice echoing in her memory. She lifted her chin. "Hey, Tyler," she said calmly, even though her pulse raced. "It's Olivia." "At least, tonight it is." He blinked, clearly confused. I don't really get it." "That's okay," Olivia replied, drawing a steady breath. "It's not simple. I'm gender fluid. Sometimes I'm Oscar. Sometimes I'm Olivia. I'm still figuring out where everything fits." She waited for the reaction she'd feared: awkwardness, mockery, rejection. Instead, Tyler nodded slowly. "Oh," he said. "Okay. Well, you look really nice, Olivia." Relief flooded her so suddenly she almost laughed. "Thanks," she said. "That actually means a lot." When she returned to her friends, drink in hand, she felt taller somehow, lighter. She'd faced the moment she'd dreaded and survived it. More than that, she'd been herself. The rest of the semester slipped by quickly. Olivia moved between identities as naturally as breathing, choosing what felt right day by day. Some mornings she was Oscar. Other days, Olivia stepped forward. Her professors listened. Her roommate stood by her. Most classmates adjusted without much fuss. Not everyone was kind, of course. There were stares, whispers, moments that stung. But for every uncomfortable encounter, there were smiles, encouragement, and quiet acts of acceptance that reminded her why living honestly mattered. As winter break approached, Olivia found herself reflecting on how much her life had shifted in such a short time. She thought about that dinner months ago, how terrified she'd been, how impossible this version of herself had once seemed. The night before heading home, she sat at her desk and opened her journal. At her therapist's suggestion, she began writing a letter to the person she used to be. "Dear Oscar, I know you're scared. You feel like you're hiding, like you're split in two and don't belong anywhere. But I promise you, there will come a day when you don't have to pretend anymore. It won't always be easy. Some people won't understand. A few may even hurt you. But so many more will surprise you, with love, with patience, with acceptance. Mom. Rihi. Aura. Jamie. Mark. Friends you haven't even met yet. You'll learn that strength doesn't mean having all the answers. It means being brave enough to ask the questions. Oscar and Olivia, both are real. Both are you. And neither one is wrong. You are loved. You are valid. You are enough. With love, Olivia, and Oscar, too." When she finished, she folded the letter and tucked it safely into her journal, her heart calm in a way it had never been before. The next morning, as she zipped her suitcase shut, Olivia caught her reflection in the mirror. She smiled, seeing not conflict, not confusion, but wholeness. As she stepped out of her dorm and into the crisp winter air, excitement bubbled inside her. She couldn't wait to see her mother, to hug her again, to thank her for standing beside her without hesitation. She thought of Rihi and Aura, grateful for the doors they'd helped her open. The future stretched wide before her, uncertain, yes, but filled with possibility. Olivia touched the locket at her chest and took a deep breath. Oscar or Olivia? Both or neither? Somewhere in between. She was ready. And that, she finally knew, was more than enough. Thanks for watching.